I dropped it. I know. But anyway, yep, Video Psych here again. And I just want to talk about values real quick. And of course, what kind of values am I talking about? I would say it's more of like just personal values. Now, of course, why would somebody want to worry about personal values? Well, I mean, I would say definitely the most from, if you're intending to marry somebody or date somebody, I would definitely say this is something that people need to worry about just on a daily basis. And it seems like, I hate to say it, but it just seems like nowadays a lot of people just don't really seem to worry as much about values when it comes to dating somebody. And I'll show you what I mean here. Now, I've been talking to more than a handful of women lately, especially over a video game that I've been playing. I am actually posing as a female on this game. Now, I will not tell you what game this is, but I have been posing as a female on this game for over 7 months, actually. And this is just one conversation that I was having a chat with her on. And she's a very likable lady here. Now, this came from her mouth, not mine. She said to me, I wish men would figure out, I'll restart it. I wish they'd figure out, men that is, that the best way to get into a relationship is to be who they are. If they'd stop pretending to be something else to win a woman over, we'd stop getting surprised and upset that they changed on us, and then the relationship thing would work better at least. This is coming from a woman's mouth, not mine. And I'll even read it again if I have to, that she is saying this about men and all of the men that she has been dating. And I said, yeah, they need to stop. They also need to stop using pickup artistry to try and get us as well. And of course, like I said, I'm posing as a woman. But I can't tell you how many guys on this game have tried using pickup artistry on me on this game that I'm playing and posing as a female on. I remember there's even this one guy that tried this whole what's your sign deal on me. When a guy tends to ask you, what your sign is, they're trying to use a pickup artistry note on you, or I would say, I think it's just hilarious. And then I, of course, go to say that it's really dumb when the guys tend to use pickup artistry to try to pick women up. And she agrees. She's like, yes, it sure is. And I even stated to her how lots of men and women don't seem to see each other as human. They seem to think that men and women are different from each other and don't treat each other as human beings. And she said, yes, that doesn't make any sense either, why they do this. Now, I know my words were a bit mixed up there, but I think you guys get the point how, it just seems like a lot of people out there are just out there to just, I would say in short, use something until they don't need it anymore. Like, almost like we're just tools now to just be used until they don't need us. And to me, that's not a very good value when it comes to a relationship. Now, lots of times, and I always think it's silly how people always worry about how good somebody is at something, right? And of course, what do I mean by that? Well, the thing is, lots of people seem to think that if they aren't, let's say, good at certain things or better than something at somebody or whatever. I think you get the point. My words again mixed up again, but I'm just not really worried about what other people are doing with their lives or how good they are at something. I mean, you might at least kind of take to note the value that somebody is at least, a good worker or a hard worker. Being a good hard worker is an important thing. It really is. But that doesn't mean that I'm supposed to be going out with this person, is what I'm trying to say. Just because, let's say, oh, you're really fast at, doing parts at your factory work. Well, it's like, well, okay, so what other good values are there? Like, are you a good parent? Are you, somebody that won't cheat on me all the time? Are you somebody that won't get drunk and beat the kids or beat me, etc.? Especially when it comes to somebody, that's like just a drunk jackass. I mean, who the hell would want to date somebody like that? It doesn't matter how good you are at your fucking job or how honest you think you are. That's not, that's a red flag right there, for instance. And I've also talked to plenty of women. Don't worry, this isn't just about bad things that guys do. Don't worry. And I've also talked to plenty of women about how, for some reason, they can't seem to find men that won't try to show them off like they're their trophy. And they have repeatedly stated to me how they are tired of men showing them off like they're a trophy, and they keep on breaking up with them because of it. I mean, of course, what does that say to me about somebody else? Well, because what that says to a woman is that you don't appreciate her values. The only thing that you appreciate, or the only reason why you're going out with them, is to just show off your ego, is what, they're getting out of the deal. Now, of course, we also have to, of course, watch women sometimes and their, values. Just like, I remember one time I was actually last year impressed with this one woman who actually talked about how drugs were a waste of time. And when she said that drugs were a waste of time, I was actually a bit surprised because I'm living in like the druggy town here, full of druggy, not just druggy women, but just druggy people in general. And it just seems like all they care about is quitting their jobs after 2 weeks of working there and going out and partying and getting high and cheating on their spouses, etc. And I would say that's at least 80 to 90% of the people here in town. No fucking joke. So you could at least see why I don't like most of the women in this town. But this one woman actually impressed me because she just she spoke like drugs were a waste of time. But to be frank with you, in a lot of ways they can be a freaking waste of time, especially if you're doing, of course, like legal drugs, coke, meth. I mean, just all the good ones, really. That I could probably talk about all day about my stories and all that about, but just to know, I mean, to me, that says, what does that say to me about her? Well, what that says to me is, this person at least has some intelligence, that she's an intelligent person, and that, she won't just go out and go to some party while she needs to be taking care of the kids and so on. I mean, when somebody says something like that, it impresses me that they at least have some responsibility, and responsibility is an important thing when it comes to also a relationship. I'm not worried about what other people are doing with their lives, how much sex they're having, or whether they're better than throwing parts around at work than me. I'm not worried about that, because fuck everybody else and their lifestyles, is what I'm trying to say. What I'm saying is, what do you want in a relationship? Not what everybody else wants in a relationship. And of course, if people have something against your relationship for just any reason, well, fuck them. They can't legally do anything about your relationship with somebody else. Nor do they actually have the right to actually be so judgmental about your lifestyle. I mean, sure, they could go around in their own privacy of their house and talk about it and bitch about it with their spouses all fucking day that they want. They can go ahead and do that. But people do not have the right to shame you for the person that you're with. And again, I think that this is something that a lot of people really just need to keep in mind nowadays, is just values in a person, in a relationship. Not just, I'm not going to be sticking around with these people that only want it for the short term, because a relationship for the short term is just a waste of my fucking time, is what I'm trying to say. And the reason why is, how can I invest in something when the person is just going to leave me within a year or two, is what I'm trying to say. How is that an investment? How is that a relationship? To me, that is not even a relationship. That's just I just got bored of you after a couple of years, now I'm moving on to the next guy kind of deal. Or some people would try to call that branching off, but I just call it, I just got bored of you and I'm just moving on kind of deal. But you also don't need to be dating somebody that would branch off from you like that anyway. I mean, who the hell would want to fucking date somebody like that? I mean, geez. Who in the world would want to date somebody like that? Who would want to date somebody that only wants to date a jackass when they aren't a jackass themselves? And let's say if I come up to a woman and try to talk to her, and she says something like, I only like bad boys. And it's like, well, okay, thanks for telling me. See ya. I'm not going to fucking care if all she wants is bad boys. There's 7.6 billion people on this planet. Who fucking cares about one lady? I'm going to go and find somebody that, cherishes my values and, can see the good in me. I'm not going to go out with somebody that wants to go out with somebody else and worry about them, And again, I just think it's so silly how some people, they just worry so much about, being better than somebody else, when I think people are just having a hard enough time just getting into a relationship in the first place, it seems. So why are we so getting worked up about who's better than somebody else, or who's with the right person? Or it's like I said, fuck them. Who cares about what they're doing with their lives? Focus on you. Don't focus on anybody else. And of course, with that being said, I will stop this video. If, of course, you guys want to talk about it, ask more questions, etc., please go right for it. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.